Welcome back. Twitter, a platform that has bridged the gap between stars and the audience. आज Bollywood में Twitter का role बन गया है और भी important. But is it a win-win situation? Well, to discuss that, we have with us the Twitter India Market Director, Mr. Rishi Jaitly, and of course, Huma Qureshi. Welcome to Business of Bollywood. So Huma, I want to know from you first, how did your Twitter journey begin? Tell us something about that.
Started off, I remember I had like 15 people who were following me, and I was following them, and they only followed me because they were friends of mine. To now where, you know, I mean, and the past 1 year for me also in terms of my journey as an actor has been immense because I debuted and, you know, my movies released, and which is when I actually realized the impact it had on my life, and therefore I could have on other people's life because anything I was saying, to recipes I was sharing, to movies I was watching, I could instantly go up there and share it with people.
For me, it began mostly for business, for clients, for associates and for actors. So it started from there.
And what about you, Rishi? You're the Indian Market Director of Twitter. So how did it begin for you?
You know, personally, I joined Twitter years ago when I was starting a nonprofit, an NGO in the US. And I said, you know, this service Twitter, maybe it'd be a nice way for me to get my cause shared with more people.
So Uma, as you said, that, you know, you're directly connecting with your fans. It kind of reflects your personality as a person. So is it kind of pressurizing for you?
It is a little more high pressure because everything I say or tweet about, you know, it has a lot of weight to it, and that's not always really cool because sometimes I just want to write something and express an opinion. Just a simple tweet, like I was spending a day with my nieces and I just was, you know, playing around with them, and I tweeted something about, you know, cutting pineapples and dipping them in chocolate, and they took out an article about it, and I was like, really?
So Rishi, I want to know this from you, how it has changed the whole trend of marketing films on social media.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are the experts kind of at film marketing, but what I'll say is, you know, we see Twitter as a town square. But if you think of Twitter as sort of the world's town square, what you don't realize is that 40% of people on Twitter globally just listen. They're just listeners. They're just following. They're just following their interests. And it's, of course, one of the things that happens in a town square. So I think, look, Bollywood is religion in India. And Twitter, given that it's completely mobile, brings you close to that content and intimacy with Bollywood that I think no other medium can provide.
So Shalja, tell me, as a filmmaker, how important do you think is it to market your film on Twitter?
For independent filmmaking, this has become a very, very interesting medium. Because what happens is that for a small-time filmmaker or an independent filmmaker, they don't have that kind of budgets. So social media today has provided a platform for them to reach out. Right. So even as an individual, whether you are a Huma Qureshi or you are a Mr. Bachchan, whether you have 5 million or 30 million or 2 million fans or 100,000 fans, you are reaching out to those people directly. So आपको एक ad नहीं डालना पड़ रहा है, right? And you are being able to reach and talk about your movie, your product very, very quickly,
right?
Without spending money. So
also
that is
getting an immediate response.
But in that sense, social media is a huge leveler also. You know, you just not only have the independent filmmakers, but also big movies like Chennai Express being a huge example, and how they really used it so well.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, you did.
Shamelessly. Shamelessly. Thank you.
It was one of the, I guess, in India, it's been one of the biggest campaigns which
at least
on social media. That's
as far as
such a huge impact.
Yeah, of course.
And you know, one of the interesting things about Twitter is that it's default public, right? So what we say is that tweets travel. It's why you see the virality on Twitter is really different and pretty unique. It's why you see tweets on websites, you see tweets in the newspaper, because when you retweet and you share essentially in that town square, they travel pretty aggressively. And for a marketer, that's pretty interesting.
We just spoke to a couple of celebrities, asking them their views on how endorsing brands and films on Twitter works for them. So let's have a look at that.
I think it's a wonderful medium to be able to react and get instant reaction without any corruption.
I think Twitter एक बहुत ही पावरफुल, बहुत ही शक्तिशाली जरिया है, एक माध्यम है डायरेक्ट अपने फैंस के साथ, लोगों के साथ, पब्लिक के साथ संपर्क बनाए रखने का. जब आप ब्रांड प्रमोशन ट्विटर के जरिए करते हैं, इट्स डायरेक्ट एंड इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लाइक डायरेक्टली टू अ कंज्यूमर. इट्स अ मेजरेबल एक्सरसाइज.
दिन भर में 1-2 बार ट्वीट करता हूँ और बताता हूँ लोगों को क्या हो रहा है, क्या नहीं हो रहा है. फिल्म के बारे में बताने का एक अच्छा जरिया है.
ट्विटर मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है क्योंकि यू गेट इमीडिएट न्यूज़ व्हिच इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आई थिंक genuinely endorse it. It's something that I actually use, even if I'm getting paid to do it. I don't mind so much.
I think it's very essential in our business. It's very essential to be social.
It's just a way of them realizing and understanding who I am really. So when I tweet and when I talk, they get to know the real me.
ये एक प्लेटफॉर्म है जहाँ पे लोग आपको डायरेक्टली चीज़ें बोल सकते हैं. It's a reality check.
मुझे लगता है ट्विटर एक ऐसा माध्यम है जो हम एक्टर्स को, प्रोड्यूसर्स को, डायरेक्टर्स को या जो भी हमारी लाइन में है, एक जरिया बन चुका है लोगों से डायरेक्टली कनेक्ट होने का. मुझे लगता है आजकल तो सारे ब्रांड्स अपने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में भी लिखते होंगे कि दो दिन टेलीविजन शूट, 2 प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस, 3 सिटी विजिट्स और 4 ट्वीट्स. ये पूरा आपका एक ब्रॉडली फॉर्मेट बनता भी होगा. एंड if it's used to promote whatever you believe in, that's your space, and how you want to use it, it's your right.
So Huma, I want to know from you, is it true that brand endorsements there is a clause that's added that you have to specifically tweet this much?
Well, there was this one, I don't want to take a name, but somebody who approached me and they said that, since you're so active on Twitter and, people do follow you, and especially young people, and it was a very young, funky sort of a brand. They said we will not, you just have to hashtag the company, whatever the logo is. We don't name the product. You have to write interesting and innovative stuff. It could be anything, something you've read or a place you've gone. And I was like, wow, really, I'm going to, get paid to tweet now.
But there is a negative to this.
This happens in Hollywood, so...
No, but there is a very big negative to this, which is there's a backlash. Twitter is very personal, as Rishi mentioned. It's like, don't make a fool out of us, right? So there was a huge backlash. There were a couple of, I don't want to name the celebrities, but there were a couple of celebrities where they did that. And the kind of backlash they got, because this is your opinion.
Yeah.
Please don't make this a medium of...
But see, this debate is separate because it works in a testimonial also. Like a lot of television commercials or print commercials work on the basis of testimony. Oh, I'm so-and-so and I have lovely hair, so why don't you use this shampoo? And I'm using Twitter as a platform to talk about it.
I agree.
Now, as a celebrity, as an actor, it is my job to look into it, what I'm endorsing, and whether it has anything negative or not. Now, that's...
No, I'm not talking about you. What you are talking is...
I'm talking in general. I'm talking in general. As a principle, today, if I choose that I'm not going to endorse a tobacco product, that's a personal call I'm taking. Now, I can tweet about it, I can write about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But it's
like a double-edged sword.
It is.
And people have to be very careful because sometimes what happens is that celebrities, obviously, they have the right. They have opened their account, they are putting the time and effort, whether they take 1 crore or they do it for free. They do it for NGOs all the time. They, like if somebody needs AB negative blood and negative blood chahiye ya kuch serious kisi ko accident ho gaya hai, kuch organ donation. All of that, they do. It's their prerogative. But sometimes what happens is, as per we do a lot of analysis. Sometimes I have noticed that people get carried away, whether they are celebrities or not. They get carried away, they endorse, and then when the backlash happens, they get pissed off that why are these people being so negative? I am leaving Twitter. So if you are doing something, you have to make sure that negative
be ready for the pros and cons.
You be ready. You cannot have your cake and eat it too.
Okay, so we've been talking about the personal connect with all your fans on Twitter. That's what basically Twitter is all about. But there are a lot of people who have PR managers for handling their Twitter account. How right do you think that is?
Well, right in the sense, of course, when there is a certain, as an actor, I can't disagree to the fact that I'm a commodity at the end of the day. I am someone who's endorsing something that's beyond me as a person. I'm part of a film or a campaign or a project, so there is a certain brand value that is attached to me. And after a certain point, maybe, I'm maybe not the best person to really manage that because there are other things or commitments that I have to do, and I think that's where these guys come in.
But the basic point of having a direct interaction with your fans, that's lost, isn't it?
But certain people, they are busy. It's not a priority and it's totally fine because it's a platform.
Right.
Like the way you have fan clubs across the world, you have official fan clubs, you have PR managers, you have digital agencies, and it's serious business. Obviously today, if a PM like Obama has one of the highest tweets followers, and I'm sure whoever our Prime Minister will be, I'm sure he's going to be very, very, active on Twitter, but doesn't mean he's actually sitting and tweeting. There's no harm in that.
So, but Rishi, tell us, how do you authenticate an account on Twitter? There's so many fake accounts that you all have.
I have so many followers, no one authenticates my account.
I'll get it done.
Please. Thanks, that's why I met you before.
Yeah.
So how does that work on Twitter?
It is important, right? On a platform that, the themes we've heard in these bites, right, is that people take Twitter personally. It's an actual real-time mobile connection to your interests or to your fans, that it's important to know whether that's actually the person, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. So, you've spoken so much about Twitter now. I want to know from you, what are the do's and don'ts, the basic do's and don'ts on Twitter?
Well, off late, I'm a little careful about tweeting about things that I don't like so much because I've realized, I'm being honest. If I don't like a movie or if I don't like a particular service of an airline or something, and I've tweeted about it in the past, and it's not gone down very well with a lot of people. So I have to watch my words, and it's very difficult for a person like me because I'm generally a very expressive person, and I have opinions. Especially for a movie that I'm promoting or talking about. I don't want to maybe send out something, a picture or a song or anything too soon.
So Rishi, finally, like right now Twitter has already spread everywhere it can. But what is the future of Twitter as of now, what you see?
You know, India has embraced Twitter, particularly because Bollywood is such a central interest area for us offline and online. And so for us, it's really, you know, we're a mobile-first company, a platform where you can follow your interest, where you can engage conversationally, but feel close. You know, our job, one of the things we do actually is take best practices, right? I mean, some of the work they've done on Chennai Express, some of the work Zoom's doing to engage its audience, right, in a personal way. Spreading these best practices, right, across the industry, et cetera, is really important because everyone's curious about this medium, how do we use it? And so we're learning too, actually, listening and learning and spreading the word as best we can.
All right, so thank you so much, guys, for having this very informative talk with us today here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.